Oh, like over here.
I'll call the meeting to order. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment? And then we'll move on to the minutes, approval of minutes for October 8th. Good to review.
Motion to approve.
Anyone see anything? Any changes?
No.
All in favor to approve the minutes for October 8th, say aye.
Aye.
Can I say who seconded?
Just.
Pages, thank you.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the minutes for October 8th. Move on to Dan McGee's update.
Hello, everybody. Ann told me to, make it short and sweet. I was up early today. So just give you some quick updates. We are continuing the Jackson group has been fabulous. They're continuing to just meet expectation after expectation there. We've maintained a little bit ahead of schedule, which is great. As you can see, our cranes on site, metal framing's going up, steel's going in, roof decking, or not decking, but structure starting to go up. Still continue to be incident free, which is outstanding. They have had one at, I believe it was 100 days. They had themselves a barbecue and kind of celebrated that. They'll do another one of those here soon. As we approach the holidays, they'll probably do something, and I think they're gonna plan to invite some staff and students and folks to participate in a celebration as we get closer. So site's been continued to be secure. Haven't had any incidents, which is great. As the nights get a little bit longer, we've asked them to put up, I talked to the group, some additional lighting around their equipment and their trailers, and then also in the vicinity of the construction site, just for safety. More dark, people out wandering around, like, we want to make sure that we're secure, and they're more than happy to do that. This a couple weeks ago on October 30th, we reconvened the facilities committee. We have some new things that we're going to start to ask out in the public, meaning RFPs for furniture, playground equipment. Those are some things that have been on the radar for a while. We need to start getting out on the street so we can get them procured for this next summer. Currently, we have 7 pay applications for the construction. Our original contract amount after bid day, we're at $13,254,910.90. We've had some change orders, and as we've talked in the past, those change orders are things that are unforeseen or slight design coordination that we've had to kind of make some adjustments. So our new contract amount is $13,297,290.22. With that, and then so in those dollars, there are, as we've talked about, contract contingencies, that certain things that they're able to absorb because it's construction related. And then there's items that we, as the owner, wouldn't have bought on bid day. Those are things that we're having to buy now, and that's to the tune of about $43,000. Our goal is that kind of identified a lot of our, I like to call them the sins of construction. They're things that are unknown. We're starting to remove risk. So as we go through this, the idea is that we can identify dollars within their contingency or ours to say, hey, would you allow us to use some of that to help fund playground equipment, or do we want to add additional sidewalk or fencing, or so we start to negotiate within our contract amount with the general contractor. So feel really confident. We've got, between the general contractor and the school district, we've got about $700,000 of contingency still in our project. Very comfortable. It's outstanding to be where we're at, as vertical as we are now, with maintaining that kind of dollar amount. So feel really confident about where we're at. And then also, as we discussed with the facilities committee, there's continuing to be interest generated on the bond funds that are sitting in the accounts. So we're starting to accumulate, quite a sizable amount in interest within those bond dollars. Then as we get towards the end of the project, we can start identifying additional things that were part of the bond language or things that you guys want to accomplish as a district. So feel really good about where we're sitting budget wise. Feel really good about the schedule, especially for the new wing, the what we're calling the C wing, which is the existing K2 building. Next summer's we're gonna be opening that up. We'll start to learn a little bit more. That's gonna be the big push to make sure that we're out of there before school starts the start of 25. So that's the one that they're most excited to get their hands on, just because there's some unknowns in there. And that's where I said risk earlier. That's one of those ones that we've got everything covered, but once we open it up, we might identify something that we have to fix, change the way it was designed. That's why we want to keep some of those dollars available in that contingency. So right now we don't have any big potential change orders out there. Lonnie, if you would like to jump to page we're past this, that's the budget tracking log. So this is a document that Jackson used.
Keep going.
One more. Yep.
Tell me when to stop.
That one right there.
Uh,
You might need to blow it up a little bit.
Got
This is what we use on a weekly basis as we're meeting as a group.
like
The PCOs, those are those potential change orders that go into a CO, which is a change order. But this is tracking all of our budgets. In the green highlighted area, those are allowances. Those are things that they didn't have really a defined scope on. We put dollars in to allow us to, the one I want to bring up is number 2. It's called mock-ups, $5,000. We've got the way our siding and our windows are interacting. We talked to them last week. Hey, let's go ahead and get the material, some material that represents what is going to be installed. Let's actually build a section of a wall so we can see how the flashing interacts with the windows. And that's what those are. We're going to start tapping into those. Those are already in the budget. If we don't use them all, those can come back to the owner as a deducted change. So again, feel really confident. This tracks towards the bottom of this page, Lonnie, if you don't mind. It's,
no, did I?
you'll be able to see there at the total, there's their contract amount. Was not the approved changes. So their contract amount is a little bit lower than what I mentioned. It's actually on pay application number 7. But then that bottom in red is our actual district contingency. And you can see that there was a few changes that didn't apply to us, but then the other ones that actually have applied. So this gets updated on a monthly basis for you guys, so you can kind of keep tabs on it.
And this is after 7, you said? After the one I
This
just
is
paid?
prior to 7.
Prior.
Yeah. We hadn't received it yet, so. As I said, we reconvened the facilities committee. We had really good, deep discussion on where we're at in the project, making sure that we're still seeing and representing the vision that the facilities committee as well as the board had. Items that we discussed is going out for RFPs for furniture, for playground equipment. We discussed some different options. So Ann and I met a little bit earlier today, talking about some ideas and concepts of what furniture packages might look like. And then we discussed a little bit about what's the vision for the existing 3-6 building. What are we going to do? Actually gave some direction to Mr. Beckham to start to pull concepts and budgets together so we can report back to that committee about what we could, what couldn't do with that building. So right now, all contracts are in place. We don't have anything outstanding that we're other than those couple of RFPs that we'll do a little bit later. That'll be probably something we're looking to procure January, February of this next year. Just so that we have enough time to get them here and installed before the start of school in 25. sent out the updated web package to Lonnie. I was traveling last week, so I'm sorry that it didn't get it to you guys. My daughter had knee surgery last week in Florida, so I was traveling, couldn't quite get everything to her, so it went up, came to them yesterday afternoon. We will, through Mr. Beckham, coordinate the next facilities meeting, and then that'll be another report that we can get back up to you guys, so. Any questions? I know it's kind of quick, but, again, they're doing great. I think that the contractor's kind of surprised at the lack of interest from the younger kids when they're out on the playground. Typically, they're like, yeah, we've seen it. So they're just good. They're not distracted. They're not worried about what's going on and wanting to be over there. But as you can see, things are going vertical. We'll really start to see the shape of this thing as they start to put sheeting on it. Really getting exciting to see. So any comments or heard anything in the public that we need to address or concerns?
Would you be able to resend that attachment? It actually didn't come through our.
Oh, it didn't? Oh.
I weren't asking Lonnie, but
Oh,
I
sure.
can actually send it in an email to you,
that
sure,
would be awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then basically the web package is kind of our weekly minutes with a bunch of photos. You know, and Jackson too, is if there's any time anybody wants to come take a tour, they can reach out to Mr. Beckham or myself and we can let them know and find a day where maybe there's train's not going to be operating or big equipment's not going to be showing up and we can get folks out there to get a little bit closer look at it. Pretty cool to see.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll move on to consent agenda. Anyone?
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Anyone have any? All in favor to approve the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to accept the consent agenda as is. Move on to new business. Huh? I'm just kidding.
I'll motion to acknowledge the outgoing district agreements. I'll second it.
They're all St. Ignatius, aren't they? Pretty sure they're all mission.
They're all outgoing.
These were late ones that she got. Christina actually sent those to me. Christopher, she's worked with them. So technically, Corey, shouldn't they be done now? There should be no more movement. Because it's supposed to be a September 30th
Correct.
date.
See how about that worked out. The agreement was September 30th.
these are like, do they go in the records or?
So those are submitted for mission. You guys acknowledge them. They've already been approved by that board
By
to
that,
go to
yeah.
school there. You're just acknowledging that, okay, you know that they're going to school there. And now this will be tuition that you pay to.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering, because on one of them, they have the date that it was submitted, I guess, as a birthday, or they put the wrong birthday, they have it 7/13/2024.
Nice.
So I was just, that's.
Yeah, I don't fill them out. Mission fills them out, so.
Okay. Anyone have anything? All in favor to acknowledge the outgoing student,
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries, except for acknowledgement of outgoing students. Move on to student activities account, cooking club.
Motion. Motion to approve the student activities account cooking club. Okay. Oh, I just got that one.
Anyone have questions?
I would just love to hear about it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay. So, I'm doing the cooking club. I had a girl in my Art 1 class and she's trying to make friends. And so she wanted this as like a vehicle for doing that. So she proposed it to me and I was like, okay, I'll be your advisor because Jackson and Shelby couldn't do it. They're the cooking people. I'm actually a horrible cook, but I'm okay if they. And so, this is kind of how we rose it up from the ground and now we're just looking for approval. But, she wrote a proposal and I wrote a proposal. If you want to kind of leaf through that, I won't read it out loud to you, but, and then looking for like fundraiser and stuff to be able to do the club. We're gonna do like concession stands, work concession stands, and then at dances, and we were talking about, selling stuff at games and things like that. So we had a couple ideas for fundraisers, but we really want to meet with the other groups of students, because we've had about 10 kids show interest.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the cooking club.
So the selling food at lunchtime, is that the food that they will make themselves then? Is that?
Yeah, they were looking to make the food themselves for like the dances, like for prom and things like that. And then maybe some of the games and stuff. We had discussed lunch, but we're not quite there yet. We're still very green.
Anyone else have a question?
We're gonna start with making hot chocolate and brownies. That was gonna be our first day.
Good time of the year for that.
Yeah, that's what we figured.
Okay, all in favor to accept the student activities account cooking club,
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries to accept the student activities account cooking club. We'll move on to the Gear Up agreement. This is our 7th year,
It's a 7-year agreement.
7-year agreement.
Starting a new cycle for Gear Up.
Okay.
I'll motion to approve the Gear Up agreement.
No question?
So is there, do we get funding with this too? Okay, that just wasn't listed in the,
So we started to. Me and John Carr, committee of us breaking down what the budget's going to look like.
Okay.
Tentatively 95,000 will come through Gear Up this year, and we'll have to match that amount. Help me understand. That
so
works.
whatever
Certain
Gear Up
amount.
gives us, we match.
Well, there's certain amounts you have to match. I don't think you have to match the
Gear-
entire thing.
yeah.
There's like a
So
percentage,
Gear Up was not approved
correct.
through
That's
the state of Montana. The actual application that they put into the feds is not approved. And so we were going along like we were not going to get Gear Up this year at all. Then all of a sudden, you should give him a shout out, even though he's not there anymore. Governor Tester said that's ridiculous. And he went in and he actually talked to Biden and he said, this is ridiculous. You need to fund Gear Up for the state of Montana. And Biden agreed and he funded it. So we got it back for another 7 years. So it's kind of a huge deal because we would have been out for 7 years,
That's what I had heard.
like
That's
almost
what I thought.
$700,000. So, it's kind of a big deal. Kind of proud of that man for doing that. Speaking up for us, but this is the new 7-year cycle. So state of Montana has got it for a new 7-year cycle.
We'll have some changes along the way. I know their department shrunk. Another update that we had today, all of our seniors will end up getting a scholarship this year, which is pretty outstanding. Sounds like, quote me on that, but it sounds like $1,000 scholarship for all of our seniors. which is outstanding. Not as many schools are involved. So it's awesome that we have it. So
Yeah, when I saw that came across, because I had heard that it hadn't gone through, and I was super bummed because Europe has been huge and done a
Mr.
lot of
Chester
really
was a champion for
things.
this, for sure.
So that's, I just was curious on, I was reading the agreement and just wasn't sure on that.
Anyone else? All in favor to accept the gear up agreement?
I,
Opposed? Motion carries to accept the gear up agreement. We'll move on to board reports.
Yeah, to hit some top highlights, I think the biggest highlight we have is the 84%.
I was just gonna say.
And that we credit to our teachers. It's a requirement that I make, that they have to reach out, they have to schedule. If you think about the 6-hour time frame that our elementary teachers have to fit, it's not enough.
Yeah.
Right? If you
Yeah.
have 20 kids, 15 minutes per kid, that's exactly 6 hours. That doesn't give you a bathroom break. Right? So elementary actually starts working on this 2 weeks in advance. As far as getting people in and out, so they can do an adequate job. The 44% that I wanted to explain with the 5-6, so right now, because it's taught by departments. That's a lot of kids to get to. And so I say just really focus in on your bottom 20% that aren't achieving. And get those parents in here or your behavior problems. Right? And then make sure you send quick shout outs. So we scheduled the bottom 20% and the behavior issues. And then we had an open door policy for everybody else. So that way everybody was able to get in. That's the big thing. That is our big win this month for sure. Any other questions?
it worked really well on the open door night, at least the section that I was there. It ran pretty smooth and there wasn't a whole lot of wait, even with that many students and that many teachers.
Yeah,
I
because
thought
you have the big conversations.
I thought it worked
Yeah.
really well.
We still want to increase that, 44%. We would like to see it more. But it's new to us, so it's a work in progress.
But the flow went really well.
Good. And sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So I don't know if I got lucky and hit it at the right time.
But yeah, well, yeah, no,
Yeah, but it worked good.
it's a better system.
We'll move on to the high school.
Yeah, I made sure on junior high, high school showed how many numbers we've lost to the students. One of the main things, we had parent teacher conferences. Junior high, we had on Monday 6 conferences. Tuesday, only 6. Where in the high school, we had a little bit more, but not much. This is one idea we can look at for the next time, is I understand the open door, but also try to set up appointments for the students that we need to talk to, where that way, those students can, and we can try to find a solution to help out. What are some possibilities? And, one of the things is my staff, they do a great job providing every opportunity they can for the kids, for the students. So I think one big is to focus on having more parent involvement, communication for the next possible parent-teacher conferences, having the ones that need to be there. The ones who are missing too many days and the ones with the grades. What else? Sports homecoming. Fall sports finished, had the senior games, a lot of great kids. One of the things we have at winter sports is try to keep encouraging our students to participate, join anything. I would love, hopefully one day, if we can introduce speech debate. I think that's a great opportunity. It's a great, I'm a huge fan of it because it helps students become more involved, but also helps them with their study. Is for someone that's helped out it teaches them how to research, how to properly work site that's going to help them out in the other classes or even at the end. But a lot of it's encouraging our students to, join a sport, stay active. It keeps you out of trouble. It saved me. You know, and I'm a kid who, you know, I'm not afraid to say, spend time in junior high. Sports saved my life, you know, and I'd love to encourage kids. Cell phones, still, you know, my staff has been, both sides, junior high, high school, they've been killing it. Making sure that students put their cell phones away. When they walk in, it's an easy calculator holder. You get it back at the end of the period. You know, but there's still those ones that, you know, I've got to look at talking to, like, hey, follow the rules. You know, it could be at one time, maybe sometime we look at it is a district wide, where as a, you know, whole is, you know, that this is the rule. You know, and it's also obviously been an emphasis by Governor Gianforte, but to make sure that we keep this mandated. You know, I'm seeing it more. I'm pretty sure that students are now more engaging, communicating now, instead of looking at a screen. They're talking more during school and everything else. Bell ringer exit's been our new thing. They've been doing awesome, you know, which is keeping students more engaged on what is the purpose, what are the things that are going to be coming up in class. You know, it's a great way with their classroom management. Also, it just gets them diving into the lesson for the day or refreshed from the day before. You know, and every teacher has different bell ringers. You know, where obviously Ketter versus Miss White, totally different. You know, but it's still the same purpose they have. Highlighted our students of the month. I think that's becoming pretty successful. You know, highlighting the students, you know, and even putting them on, you know, just recognizing great character, good kids. I think it's huge. You know, and one thing is and we've been at the high school is encouraging staff, make those phone calls home, positive. You know, that's one of those things, all of us are parents. We don't know how our kids are doing, but also that helps build that relationship between us, stakeholders, community members. That way, if there is something, it makes it, that way we're a team. So that's mine.
I loved the postcard thing after the student of the month, receiving a postcard
Yeah.
as a parent. And because, you know, like I say, sometimes you don't answer the phone or don't get the message or whatever, phone number is not always working. That happens all the time in our community, cell phones and things not working. So the postcard home idea was great. I thought that was so fun. And then you get a little bit of the write-up about the student. And so I thought that was a phenomenal idea.
I think it's important for all of us where it's like, I don't know how my kids do it. I don't know if my kid, you know, I get it when my kid goes to a different school and it's like, is my kid doing well? You know, I don't want the negative. They shouldn't always be negative. You know, sometimes just be like, hey, you know what? Your kid was awesome this week. You know, your kid has been helping out this kid, you know. There are some things parents, you know, it helps build because we're all a team together. And it makes it a lot easier with, you know, just developing that relationship.
Yeah, I really like being able to see some of these kids out there and say, hey, I saw you on the student, and it just reinforces
Yeah.
everything else that's going on. And I really like the speech angle. Like, I'm all about sports, but I'm looking back at it, it's like, I wish we had more extracurricular. I would have done speech. And it's like, I would love to see a gym full of parents that are attending a speech debate or something. So I'm all about extracurricular.
And it's pretty cool
activities.
going to one of those speech debates. I mean, there's some talented kids, you know, and it doesn't have to be, you know, sports wise, but this is theirs.
And those are life lessons they can take on for the rest of their life skills, so.
Yeah, and it's cool when you recognize the kid, hey, nice job. Positive affirmation is huge. And if we just keep it, it's gonna be great.
Anyone else?
I'm here.
We're on to Mr. Beckham.
Questions? At 6:45, you guys should have gotten a comprehensive needs assessment that was emailed to each of you. I put instructions on there for filling it out. You'll be a community member when you fill it out. Basically, the comprehensive needs assessment, accreditation in the state of Montana has changed. This is part of it, so we'll take a collective survey throughout the whole community, students, staff, community members, admin will sit back down, reevaluate what the comprehensive needs are for the district, and then be able to build off of that. That one I will close November 30th, and shortly after that one, I haven't put it up yet. We'll also have what does a graduate look like for a graduate profile, also something in regards to us being accredited with the state. So just some things that are coming out, be able to help facilitate what direction we're moving on in the upcoming years. So it'll be kind of a normal thing as we move forward, but you guys should have got that at 6:45.
You did send that to us?
Yeah, just got it.
Okay, yeah.
Not on the reports. Oh, and I guess, did you pull up the comprehensive needs?
Do you want
Not
me
that
to
matters.
open it?
You don't have to.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
I didn't add this to the report because we're still diving into it. Insurance stuff, we're almost buttoned up on everything. The light poles, when we had our original, which I've never laid eyes on, but what was quoted to me originally was north of 700,000 for replacing light poles years ago when they did that quote. We got a quote back. That quote came in at 128,000. There was, sent it back to them to make sure that I had in writing all of the volunteer work so that I could fall back on that, which is great. I will do a follow-up in an actual report to you guys, but I want to just keep you in the loop. 128 is amazing. The thing that we're now looking at is the power poles themselves. Of the 128,000, power poles cost 80. So, and that's just the poles. So, I say Arlee Electric has gone above and beyond and is now looking back at what can we do for the possibility of getting in permanent metal poles. We'll start diving into see who we can have come up and help us with other volunteer work in regards to concrete. I feel like our community will step up and do. But I wanted that price back before we just go bury 2 poles in there. So that is in the works. Pretty exciting. That is a full new system, 6 light poles as is, all rewired with upgraded lights. Spec'd out to stadium specs, 80-foot poles. It would be amazing. We'll reconvene once we figure out whether or not we can afford metal. So.
And is there any help from ask the governor, can we write the governor and?
In regards to whether
Yeah,
they're
just
gonna give them
like, it
kickback.
seems like we're so close to Missoula County that. Can we just start something to kind of see if they can make an exception?
I will email him. See, I'll get back to you on the next.
Yeah, and if there's anything we can do as a community to help.
Any other questions?
Move on to the Arlee Federation Teachers Update.
Not much to update besides our new leadership. So I'm currently now the president. Our vice presidents, Mr. Stockton, treasurer is still Ms. Hughes, and our secretary is Mr. Albree. So we're finally recruiting some young blood in there, so we can kind of start cycling through.
Nice.
The representation.
Yeah,
And before they changed, it used to be like more elementary and now kind of shifted more high school, but we still have our elementary.
okay. We'll move on to approval of claims, payroll and reports.
I'll motion to approve. Second.
Anyone seen?
There was a charge for All West testing. It's a soil testing. Can we get like the results of that or like what? And I saw 3,000 something, but there was also something else in the 50 pages or something. It was like 28,000. I just want to know what is that? Are we testing out where the playground was for our radon or like what is the?
Can I, is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah, so All West is our consultant that is doing all of our material testing for the construction. So they're doing ground compaction, testing the concrete breakage, making sure that we're meeting the specs. There was an additional $7,300 added to their scope for the dirt berm that was there back behind the sheds. There was some coal dust in there, so we had to have that remediated. So there was extra cost for the testing and then for the disposal of that. We had to have that certified as it went into Missoula. But I've got copies of all those reports that if you want to noodle through them, you can.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, it's, right now, that's the nice thing about they've certified that, all our concrete is exceeding any specifications. Ground's been fabulous. The dirt up here is great to build on. So that's what they're protecting us to make sure that we don't have anything underneath that's gonna fail.
Sure.
Yeah,
No, I love that.
Yep.
My midnight reading.
yeah.
all that.
So another one that we'll see, probably starting December is, commissioning is another consultant we have. Where they're gonna look to the engineering on the mechanical and electrical systems to make sure that what we're getting is what specified and designed. That company's McKinstry, so you'll see that one start to pop up probably after the first of the year. You'd like to see.
So it's like a third party
Yep.
verification.
It's just making sure that, just like myself, somebody else looking over going, hey, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? And they're just gonna verify that not only is it as specified, but then also that it is functioning at the most efficient way to help keep the operation, your new square footage as low as possible. So, yeah, there's just another kind of bump stop to make sure that we're getting everything that the community stand for. Yep. You got it?
And then that kitchen stuff, was that the wedding that we had? Is that
What was the kitchen stuff? Yeah.
Plans, plumbing.
brown septic camera line from?
Yeah, they had to flush a line outside the kitchen that we didn't know that we had to keep up with every year.
I wonder, is that the Browns where they did how much was it?
It was a couple $100.
Yeah, it was 250. It says,
There's two separate charges.
yeah,
Stuff that we
it was,
scoped, we had to scope
Yeah,
going from the new gym out to the main sewer line.
Yeah.
That got scoped. I know another one that got scoped was when we broke the pipe going from the 3.6 out and we repaired that. That one could also be on that one.
okay.
So those are the lines that we were scoping, just to make sure that everything was on grade and we were getting everything out of the building that needed out of the building.
That's all I wanted to know. Anyone else see anything? All in favor to approve the pay claims, payroll and reports?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the claims, payroll and reports. Next regular board meeting, December 10th.
I'm good. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will motion to adjourn the meeting. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.